Hello, the lipstick that I have on is so much pinker than I wanted it to be. It's one of those, got it at the Dollar Tree, and it's one of those ones that like reacts to your pH, and I'm like, why is my pH so pink? Hi everyone, welcome. So I have a video project that I'm working on that is taking up a lot of my time, and it's taking longer than I thought it was going to take. And so I wanted to upload a video for you guys right now that was not a reading vlog, you know? So I wanted to sit down, talk, have a little chit chat with you guys. And then I was sitting here and I was like, I don't know what I want to talk about. I have no head empty, no thoughts right now, because all of my energy is going into the big video project that I'm working on. So I was like, I don't know what I want to talk about. So, I let you guys pick, and I asked you guys to send me questions for Q&A. So that's what we're going to be doing. That is what's happening. I'm sorry, I did only leave it up for like an hour and a half before I filmed, because, hey, this was last minute, baby. I'll be honest, this was so last minute. One, if you asked a question that's not in this video and there's enough, you know, secondary questions, then maybe I can do this again. Also, if you have any questions and you want me to do a second part, leave them in this video and I will answer more questions. I did ask for these to be book or YouTube related. I do think they all ended up being book related. So, without further ado, let's get into these questions. All right. First one is from my mom. How excited. I'm not going to say who they're all from all the time, but the first one is from my mom. And she wants to know, would you, that's not what she asked. So the first one is from my mom, and she said, what would you recommend for someone who is, that's so funny that I can't read this question. What would you recommend for someone who has dyslexia? What would be the best, what would you recommend for someone who has dyslexia to read, or the best way to go about it? So, one second. Well, something that I would recommend. I always say that I have dyslexia, and I don't know if that's the correct diagnosis, but I do have something where it is so hard for me to read, and I get jumbled all of the time, and I mix up letters, and I think that I am just explaining dyslexia, but I've just never been diagnosed with it. So something that I do is on my Kindle, I have the dyslexia font, which it's a font that makes it harder for letters to get mixed up, which is very, very helpful. I would also recommend, hello? Oh, it was the cats. Something that also super helps me is I will listen to the audiobook on days that like I can't focus, and on days that it's hard. I listen to the audiobook while I'm reading along. So like, because there's some days where I just listen to straight audiobooks, and then there's some days where I just physically read. But when my ADHD is really bad, or when I'm having a really hard time like putting together words and like making sense of words, I will listen to an audiobook while I am reading the physical book or the ebook on my Kindle. And then there's some days where I have to read it on my Kindle with the dyslexia font and listen to an audiobook. It's just some days there's really bad brain days, and that's what I do to combat that. I would also recommend, if you were going to do that, on, you know, some type of e-reader of any sorts, I would recommend getting either the Libby app or the Hoopla app, and getting your audiobooks and your ebooks that way. That way you're not spending money on them, but then you're also not giving money to big corporations. You are supporting your local library. So that's what I would recommend doing. I don't know if, what's the Kobos, I think is what they're called. I don't know if Kobos have the dyslexic font on it, but I know if you have like a smartphone, or if you have like a tablet, I know that you can get the Kindle app on those, and Kindle specifically has the dyslexic font. I also know that Barnes & Noble has started selling books with that font. So dyslexic font, audiobooks. That is super the way that I would go about it. That is what helps me. So yeah, that is what I would recommend if you are having a hard time reading. I would also, so not only would I recommend that for dyslexia, but I would also recommend that for ADHD and anybody just needing help reading, you know, because like the best that I ever read was in school, when I read along with the teacher reading out loud. And so I think that's just like implemented in our brains. And like storytelling is such an innate thing that we humans like, and so I think it does make it better to listen to the audiobook while you're reading along if you were having a hard time focusing. I went on a tangent, sorry. Next question. What was the first book you remember reading? Hold on, I have it. Oh my god, wait, hold on. I'm gonna take you guys upstairs for this, because I still have this book. I live at my grandparents' house right now, and I remember my grandma reading this to me, so hold on. Mother, may I come in? Hello, I'm stealing something for a video. Thank you for this. I love you. I love you more. Yeah, I just answered your question, by the way. Something that I think about whenever I think about reading is, and it's also funny, Ryan asked me this, which is my cousin, Ryan. I don't know if you remember this book, but Grammy used to read this to us all the time. It's called Muppet Babies Classic Children's Tales, and I think about this book all the time. Like, this is, I'm so excited I remembered that we had it still. Like, are you joking? Like, you're joking, right? Like, you're kidding. These pictures are like imprinted in my brain. Ah! That's so good. Oh, God, that's so, they don't make shit like they used to. This one is one of the ones, this and the Wizard of Oz one are like ingrained in my brain. Shut! Oh my god, I spit. Shut up. Are you fucking kidding me? I remember this one was my grandma's favorite. She always talked about how good everything looked in it and how she wanted to eat it. And I agree, Grammy. Oh. Yes! The Wizard of Oz one is so good. We're off to see the wizard. The wonderful Wizard of Oz. Fuck, I forgot there was a king. I'm sorry, you guys get to look at all of these with me now. Sorry. This was, again, this is what you guys signed up for. The hills are alive with, it's actually Heidi, but the hills are alive with the sound of music. Oh, I forgot there was a Peter Pan one. Is that it? I figured out how to hold the book as it's finished. But yeah, this was like this, and then it was this old book called Chester the Horse that my grandma used to read for me. And I know that if I looked while I was up there, I feel like it would have been up there. I feel like it would have been up there, but I just didn't look. I also didn't wear my glasses up there, so I was sitting at my mom's bookshelf. Like those are the first books that I think of. But the first, like, chapter books, I guess. There was one that I read in 3rd grade that I really remember reading, and it was, maybe it was, yeah, it was in Miss Nugent's class, I do know that. But we read this book about this boy having a wolf, or having a spider named Wolfie. Don't remember anything else about it, but I do remember that. I also remember reading, like, Goosebumps when I was younger. I remember reading Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I remember reading The Boxcar Children. Because of The Boxcar Children, I have always wanted to eat blueberries and milk out of a lake, out of a stream, being kept cold by a stream. I also read a lot of Nancy Drew. There was a girl in my class, her name was Michaela, and she would come over and we would ride our scooters around my neighborhood, and we'd find, like, the grassy patches of my old neighborhood, and we would just read the Nancy Drew books. I think I have one somewhere around here. I don't think I'm ever gonna, I kind of would like to read them again maybe, but, like, that's just, that's the really long answer. Those are the books that I remember reading. Do you have a favorite way to read, physical, ebook, audio, and is it based on genre? That's a really good way. I don't think I prefer any of them more than others. I will say there's a time for each of them. I prefer reading physically or ebook, like when I'm out. You know, like I prefer, because if I'm listening to something while I'm out and about, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to what's happening in my ears. When I'm out and about, I need to actually be looking at it. So that can be an ebook or a physical book, as long as I'm reading the words. I love being like, I love listening to audiobooks when I'm doing something, like when I'm drawing or I'm painting or I'm playing a game, or I'm cleaning or just kind of like tinkering around and cooking and stuff. I do like an audiobook then. The only time that I have like a for sure 100% preference is I hate the lighting that I have in my room. It's obnoxious and it hurts my head. And I don't even have a big overhead light. I just can't seem to figure out how to light this fucking room. So I keep my window open most of the time and just have like natural lighting come in. But then I can only read for a certain amount of time because the lighting. So the only time that I have a preference is at night. I do prefer my Kindle because then I can read without turning my fucking obnoxious lights on. But yeah, I think I'm just like so different and quirky, and I think that they all have their time and place, and I like each of them. But I don't think I like any of them more than the others. If I had to pick one way to read, though, I would probably pick audiobooks. Just because it's the most universal. If I could read only audiobooks, but then still have physical representations of the books that I love, I would do that. Well, Wasabi, I know that wasn't the question, but I did answer it. Would you like to say hello? Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Well, okay, I guess not. Who are my top 5 authors right now? Neil Shusterman, obviously. And then I'm going to put these two together because everything that I've read from them is together. They are 2 separate individual authors, but all of the stuff that I've read from them, they've co-written together. So Neil Shusterman and then his son Jared Shusterman and then Sophia Lapuente, them together. I'm going to count those as 2. So these 2 for sure. Suzanne Collins, obviously. Oh. How many people is that? Who am I naming? What am I doing? Neil Shusterman, obviously. Suzanne Collins, obviously. I've also really been fucking with Paul Tremblay recently, obviously. And then I'm gonna put these 2 together. I mean, you can see their pink book up there, and Gleanings and Dry. They normally write together, and they are 2 very individual people, but like I've read them together, so I'm gonna put Jared Shusterman and Sophia Lapuente together as my number 4. And then my 5th is going to be, I'm gonna say Anaya Allborn. Anaya Allborn, because I read Seed and I read Brother, and I really liked both of them. I know that the question isn't like who is your favorite, like, you know, what authors have you read the most from, but in order for me to like really be like, oh, I love this author, I feel like I have to read more than one thing from them. So that's how I'm answering that question. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what was the worst book I read in school? Specifically in school. I will say, I think it was any time that, because like nothing's like popping into my head, and if while I'm editing something else pops in, I'll like cut in with it. But I think my least favorite things that we ever did in school, like outside of theater, like specifically like when I was in a classroom, was anytime that we did Shakespeare and like read Shakespeare as a group, because there's like a certain way that you have to read Shakespeare for it to make sense. And I'm not even like saying that in like a pretentious way, but in like a way that like, no wonder people didn't understand Shakespeare. It's because we were reading it with a monotone voice and not in the correct speaking way. And I don't know. So just anytime we were reading Shakespeare, it felt like pulling teeth. Oh. Can you summarize your feelings about Sunrise on the Reaping in 5 words or less? So I will let you know that one of the big video projects that I'm working on may or may not have my full opinions on that, but I can't link it or anything yet because this will be out before that video. But wait if you want my full feelings on it. But 5 words or less. I never hurt like this. That sound was a bonus one. Next question. Do you like any nonfiction? Yes, I do. Let me grab it. What the fuck sound was that? Did you guys hear that? What was that? Huh. Well... Okay, so, do you like any nonfiction? So, the nonfiction that I've read that I don't own, that I really liked, is The Fire Next Time? Oh my god, hold on. Haha, it is, okay. So, The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin and Educated by Tara Westmore? Mackenzie Westmore. No one cares what dress Mackenzie Westmore is wearing. It's Westover, okay. And then Educated by Tara Westover. Those are 2 that I've read that I really liked that I don't own. And then 3 that I own. This is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. This book is crazy. You should read it if you have not. It's very queer. And it's very spooky, and it's very much... Why am I holding a book like I've never held a book before? It's good. It's one of those books that doesn't read like nonfiction, so if you've ever wanted to try to get into nonfiction, this is a good place to start, I think, personally. So there's that one. I did a whole video about this book. I read the Dick Van Dyke memoir. It was so good. It was so good. So there's that one that I own. Now, I'm not super fond of this book. I read it, I've had it forever, I read it and it was kind of a disappointment, which is really shitty because I've been wanting to read this for so long. But the artwork in it is really cool, and if you can get your hands on a copy of this, like either in a library or, you know, something like that, if you can borrow it from somebody, I think the artwork is really cool to look at, and I think that some of the lessons of queerness in here is really meaningful, and if you've like seen the musical and you liked the musical, maybe coming back to the source material is really cool. But it's just it left a weird taste in my mouth overall. But it is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel, which is where we get the Bechdel test from, which I think is interesting too. There is a lot of romanticization of people that maybe shouldn't be romanticized in this, but I can't also tell somebody how to deal with the trauma of their parents. It's complicated, but there are some things in here where I was like, ooh, that's the takeaway you took from that? Ooh, so go into it with that mindset. But it is a graphic novel, so it is like, I did also tab it up a little bit. So, you know, I enjoyed it enough to where I haven't gotten rid of it, and I enjoyed it enough to where I am talking about it, but I also enjoyed it so much less than I thought that I was going to and that I wanted to. But this is also a memoir, and it is nonfiction, so. I still want to know what the fuck that sound was. Oh, I think it was Ham falling over, and it was his tracks making a noise. That's at least what I'm gonna tell myself so I don't freak the fuck out. Thanks, Hemlock. I got, would you guys ever want to see a tour of all the weird tchotchkes I have? Because I got these 2 little guys. This one's from Hemlock, this one's from my mom, and I named this one Cyrax. Oh, and this is Vermithor up there. So, you know. This is not where they go, but that's where they're gonna go for right now. Okay, what are you most excited for on your TBR? Ooh, okay. I'm really excited for some of the stuff that I'm reading for Kayla's, like the Kayla from Books and Lala for her readathon. I have an entire section that I've like put the books that I'm gonna read for that on, which is very exciting. So I'm excited for all of those. I guess I could, hey Tyler, cut in a clip. No, those are surprises. I'm not gonna cut those in. So I'm excited for those. I'm excited for the books that I'm reading. Oh my god, that bird was fucking big, Jesus. I am excited for the books that I'm reading for the video that I'm working on right now. Those ones, I'm so excited for all of those. Okay. This is like half my TBR. No, it's not. Don't let me lie to you. Okay, I should also be honest. I should be honest with you guys. So I'm on a book buying ban this year. But I went to the library. So okay, long story short, I was directing a production of Legally Blonde. And I checked out a fuck ton of books. I checked out like an LSAT book. I checked out criminal law books. And then we moved, and then I lost them, and that was 10 years ago. And so I've had books missing from the library for 10 years, and I found them. Well, my mom found them. So I finally got to turn them in, and it was an exciting time, and I went during National Library Week, and we went, and my mom signed up for a library card, and I turned in hundreds of dollars of books that have been gone for 10 years. And I was just riding this high of supporting my local library, and my local library has a friend of a library section where you can buy books for anywhere from 25 cents to $1. And I felt bad because I still had some stuff that I didn't realize I still had from the library. And so I was just in this moment of supporting my library. So I bought like 4 books from the library, but some of the books that I bought were from problematic authors that I didn't want to give money to, that I've wanted to see if the books are worth it. And then if I like them, then I'm going to donate them back out put them back out in rotation, and I'm not going to keep them because I don't want to keep them from problematic authors, but I also want to try to read them. So I did break my book buying ban, but I've supported my local library, so I'm not even fucking mad at it, okay? The first 2 on this list, the first 3 on this list are from that, but I'm not gonna say sorry. So, I outed myself, but I'm okay with that. The first book is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. And then we have The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. These are not the problematic authors. I'm not sharing the problematic authors. I just want to make that clear. Toni Morrison, The Bluest Eye. And then I read my first Riley Sager this year for the video that I'm filming right now. And I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. And so now I'm more excited to see if I'll love or hate this one. So then I have The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I'm going to put that one down first because it's the biggest. That is, nope, that's the wrong way. Okay. And then Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ning. Oh. Cool. I got a system. I can do this. This is one of the other ones that I bought. Yeah, it wasn't the Riley Sager. It doesn't matter. I bought The Echo Wife, by Sarah Gailey. So that is another one that I'm excited for. Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. Would love to read. Monstrilio by Gerardo Cordova. Cordova. Monstrilio by Gerardo Cordova. Well, I can say Cordova by itself, but then when I say it with the first name, it does not come out. Monstrilio by Gerardo Cordova. That sounded fake. And then next we have Monstrilio by Gerardo Cordova. Watch it be Gerardo too. No, it's Gerardo. Next we have, this is crazy. I'm gonna leave all of this in so you guys see what's happening. Next we have Monstrilio by Gerardo Cordova. Next we have Monstrilio by Gerardo Cordova. Play it off, act natural, act cool. And then I read most of this series this year, but I didn't want to like consume it. I wanted to leave like a little bit for myself to be excited about for the rest of the year. So I want to read Unbound by Neil Shusterman, which is like, he does like normally at the end of his bigger series, like a short anthology of like untold stories from the world that he wrote in. So like he did Gleanings with Scythe, and so Unbound is the unwound version of that, and I'm very excited for that. So these are the ones outside of videos, outside of reading like outside of like reading contests or reading challenges that I'm doing, these are the ones that I'm excited to read just for me. So that's so exciting. Those are the ones that I'm most excited for. Next I have, what's a book you recommend everybody to read in their lifetime and why? So like, you know, I think that's hard because I want to say Scythe because I think everybody can get something from Scythe, and Scythe's my favorite book series. And I think it shows us like wanting too much and needing too much and chasing forever and chasing like immortality, like how being mortal and having limited time with things sometimes makes it more meaningful and makes it more beautiful, and like the fleetingness of the world is what makes us human, and wanting to change humanity too much too quickly, like the downfall of that. So like that's, I think, is a really important message. And also like maybe it shows like, oh, this cup's been there, hey, this was, don't look at her, don't look at her. I do also have an annoying answer, and that is, I think reading the Hunger Games series, especially now more than ever, and with all of the subsequent like prequels that Suzanne Collins has been putting out, like I think the original trilogy obviously reflected the time in which they came out and was very crucial, and I think that those original 3 add the context to where people can relate to what happened in the past, in the sense of like the tones and everything that's being talked about in the original books. But I think with Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping, that it is reflecting more of like what we're going through now. But I think obviously you should read the original 3 first, but I think the entire Hunger Games series is a little too on the nose for right now, but it is a really interesting way to see what we are going through the lens of fiction, and through like a, well, here we go, let's go. Scythe, Hunger Games. Okay, we're coming close to the end. Next question. What would you consider the worst book you've ever read that was not a DNF? Okay, so let's see. I mostly have kept this book because I don't want to put it into the world. But this is called Run the Game by Jason Myers. And this book is insane derogatory. Like, I don't know how this was published to kids and marketed as a YA book. I don't understand how a full-grown man wrote some of the scenes in this that he wrote and didn't go to fucking jail. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's bad. It's, let me read the back to you. Alexander didn't believe in love at first sight until he met Patty. She's the kind of girl you hear about in songs. Gorgeous, feisty, and dangerous. Being with Patty is better than any high. And he can't live without her. But Alexander's not the one who wants to be with, but Alexander's not the only one who wants to be with Patty. Burke ruthlessly takes what he wants and will kill to protect what is his, and he won't let Patty go without a fight. If Patty and Alexander are going to be together, their love will come at a steep price, because some promises are meant to be broken and not all debts can be paid in cash. Hey, that makes it sound like a dark, like, oh my god, they're fighting over me, like love triangle romance. Oh my god, I like am pretty sure Alexander's like 17, 18 in this, and Patty's 13. There's also a scene where somebody does coke off his dick. And like, I say 17 and 13 and you're like, oh, like YA romance, like that's weird, but like at least it's not graphic. There's so much sex in this. Graphic in detail sex. The only reason I still own this again is because I don't want to put it into the wild. Also, this one I got from like a Stuff Your Kindle day, and it's called Scary P. I thought it was gonna be haha funny, like, oh, funny horror. I never thought that I was going to watch hey, I'm gonna say some maybe triggering words, and I'm so sorry about, but like, this is crazy. Hey, this is crazy. I've never thought that I was gonna read a book where a miscarried fetus was gonna haunt his younger brother because he was slut shaming the mom, and then like there was gonna be pictures of the haunted baby, but it was just a doll with a Snapchat filter on it, and every time it would pop up it would be like, and the scary doll looked like this, or not the scary doll, it was like the scary baby looked like this, and it was just a doll going with like a Snapchat filter on it. And then the whole thing was that the younger brother was like peeing the bed because his dead brother was like haunting him, and then he was like, well, our mother is a slut, that bitch, fuck that bitch, that slut. And it turns out like he thought that the mom like him, but it turns out like her body just did it naturally, and the brother was like, you're not gonna haunt our mother, and then they both murder each other. It's 30 pages. Sorry, spoilers. Spoiler warning for the worst book that I've ever read. It's that one. Thank you. Don't read it. Second to last question. We're at the home stretch, people. Sorry. What book or series has been interpreted into other forms like movies or TV, where you like all of the versions? Okay. Unpopular opinion, I really like the Hunger Games movies. I know that that is not a universal thing. Catching Fire is just one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 4 on Letterboxd. I do think that the first movie was not great, and then once they switched directors, it was fine. I think Ballad was the best that they did from book to movie. I wish Ballad would have been 2 parts, but that's fine. I liked the Twilight books and the movies about the same. I don't love either of them, but I do think that they're about the same. I'm very nostalgic for them, I should say. I'm very much like what pushes me to like them is the nostalgia, and I like those the same. That makes sense? Oh, The Hate You Give was really good. I do hate that they took out my favorite character from The Hate You Give in the movie, but I do think that the book and the movie were both really, really good. I think that I think the Divergent book was better than the movie. I fucking hated the movie. Oh, Where the Crawdad Sings, they were both fine. This isn't answering your question very well. I'm so sorry. I really liked The Haunting of Hill House, like the book, and I also really like this TV show. Is my favorite TV show of all time. And so I do think that that was really good. I also think that The Fall of the House of Usher, it was insane to me how they got such a cool TV show from such tiny source material of the original Poe story. So I do think that that's really good, but I really do, I also think an unsung hero of this, truthfully, is 12th Night into She's the Man. That's it. That's the winner. That's truthfully the winner there. I'm also excited to see what they do with the Scythe movie. Oh my god, also unpopular opinion at time, I think, again, I love the Fault in Our Star movie, I love the Fault in Our Star book, but truthfully I think the best book to TV show adaptation of all time is Looking for Alaska. Hey Hulu, Looking for Alaska. The trash truck is mad with me, hold on. Hey Hulu, Looking for Alaska was a Hulu original. Why did you take it off? Hey, why the fuck did you take it off? Oh, sorry, there was 2 parts of this. So, the last 2 questions from the same person. The first one is, what books make you tear up to even think about? Oh, Colby has my copy. I don't have it right now. Just kidding, Colby has my copy, but I can't think about They Both Die at the End. Like, I really didn't, like, me as a person did not it doesn't feel like that would be the kind of book that would like get me. But I can't even think about They Both Die at the End. I can't even think about it. I can't look at it. I can't do it. So They Both Die at the End for sure. Now Sunrise on the Reaping. What other books made me cry like a baby? Where the Red Fern Grows is such a cheesy answer. But why is it right here? Why do I have 2 copies of it? Well, I have one on that shelf and I have one right here. I don't know why. Where the Red Fern Grows. They Both Die at the End. Sunrise on the Reaping. I do think maybe also The Fault in Our Stars. Listen, I'm just a cheesy guy. Hi, come here. You get to say hi this time. Well, say hello. You look so handsome and pretty and bright. Okay. Well, now it's actually the final question. It's the final question. What book is like my inner world? That's such a good question. So this might be like a lame answer, maybe like a cheating answer. I feel like the reason that I like Paul Tremblay's writing so much is I think the way that he writes is like the way that I think and the way that I talk to myself. So like, I don't know if I relate to any of his specific characters, or if I think that any of his writing specifically sticks like in, like, I'm like, oh, for sure that is the world that I'm living in. But the way that he writes his his inner monologues is how I think. And like the cheekiness of them being like to themselves, like, yeah, but like, does that matter? Is very much how I think. So I think that's my answer. I think Paul Tremblay's work in general are just my inner monologues. So, or my inner world. We did it, you guys! We did it. I did a video. I sat down. I filmed it. You guys proud of me? Because I'm proud of me. I had a lot of fun doing this. If you guys want any more kind of Q&As, let me know. Leave them down in the comments. I do want to do a video too where you tell me your favorite book and then I recommend a book for you guys based off of that. I think that would be kind of fun. Or like, you know, you guys tell me like some vibes that you're into and then I recommend a book. You guys want to do a video like that? You guys want to like leave concepts down in my comments and then I'll recommend a book based off either your favorite books, your favorite TV shows, your vibes. Yeah, let's do that. Anything you guys want, leave in the comments and I'll give you a book recommendation off that vibe or that media. Oh my god, wait, fun. Fun. Thank you guys. Sorry, I got a notification. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you've made it this far, you might as fucking well subscribe. Because this is what we do here. This is what we do. We just hang out. I make a cup of coffee, I talk about books, or I make a cup of coffee and I read those books. So subscribe if you want to stay for the vibes. Leave a comment if you want me to give you a book recommendation. And give this video a thumbs up if you like me. No pressure. But full pressure. Anyways, so especially if you guys like the new bag that Colby got me for my markers, then I love you the most. Thank y'all. Oh my god, I have to put all these books back now. Fuck. No, I just cleaned my desk. I can't not put them back now. Okay, bye. Oh my god, can you stop?